Well, keep in mind the Declaration. We talked about that tragedy with his grandfather being the formative story of his childhood. The Declaration of Independence was the formative political ideology, context of his politics, his love of America. It was grounded in the Declaration of Independence. He has that wonderful statement where he says he never had a political thought that didn't stem from that document. So it really kind of governed, I think, his thinking that God had given rights, that not a Congress, and that those rights made us a special nation. And so, yes, I think he was, the spirit of the founders was alive and well in Abraham Lincoln. So he took that incredible tragedy, and I have one of my great-great-grandfathers actually was in the Battle of Gettysburg, of course, on the Union side, and in fact had a casualty from that. I know that because I'm a member of the Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War, and I had to document it before I could join. But he was so inspired by the founders. He thought it was something uncommon in the annals of world history. So it's good that he went back to something so basic and gave it new life. And so yes, that was guiding his thoughts, I think, throughout the trial of the Civil War, and gave such wonderful expression to it at Gettysburg. Yes, sir.
I think it's a shame that Lincoln doesn't have any descendants that are still alive, because he did what he did for our country. When people are looking for things to get at Lincoln to tear him down, they always say that he was a racist. When someone comes up to you and says that, how do you reply to it? How do you say, look, Dad, how do you do it?
Well, I think you have to be, the word historiography is the study of history. And we need to be very careful with Lincoln on this point as we study the history. He made statements certainly early in his political career that in the abstract kind of could be taken as gee, that's nothing I'd say today. I'm not sure that in the context of the time they were that terribly radical. But even those statements, he grew and evolved in his thinking, and especially in his encounter with Frederick Douglass and his incredible appreciation for the black soldiers who served in the Civil War. This changed his thinking. He grew, again, as I said, line upon line, precept upon precept. The same is true, I think, with his religious faith. It became something deeply profound, nothing on the shirt sleeve. And I think his understanding about the complexity of the race issue and how it has to be settled into the future grew. So we can't pigeonhole a statement that he made at one point in time and say that's reflective of his mature expression. So my short answer to you with a long explanation is that no, I wouldn't characterize him in these very negative tones that some revisionist historians have, because he was like all of us and subject to grow with new information and new understanding, new eyes. So, but you've got some wonderful historians here. They might, chime in on this.
Well, one thing I recall is when he said, in one of the Douglas debates, he said, I never once said that I wanted the slaves to move up here and all, but Douglas used to bait them. He used to talk to those white landowning voters that if Lincoln wins, you're going to have all these slaves coming up here to take your jobs and take your daughters. And you usually don't see that as a precept.
Well, he was a politician, so he wanted to make it clear that he was totally against slavery. But he may have been subject to some of the prejudice and misunderstanding of the day. But certainly he didn't want people to think that he was going to encourage intermarriage or something of that sort. But he profoundly deplored slavery, the institution in America. And he said, as I would not be a master, so I would not be a slave. He was strong and bold in that regard, and we have to be so grateful that he had a backbone.
I say to my students, I don't have to love you, I want you to have your rights. And I will sometimes let them make their own decisions on Lincoln in that way.
Well, look at the full measure of the man, the complete history, and look at Frederick Douglass's comments about Lincoln after he was shot. I mean, wonderful tribute. And here's a black man that came into the White House, and face to face. So, what else are you thinking? Thinking you can be another Lincoln, huh? Well, I appreciate the invitation to be here and encourage your study of this great man.
Thank you. Yes, I do. Before you go, and a token of appreciation for your very thought-provoking talk, we want to present to you a Hauenstein Center bag.
Well, thank you.
Ralph
That's
Hauenstein.
wonderful. I appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
ladies.
All right, take care. Well, thank you very much for your kind attention, and I just want to remind you that this is the first of 2 days. Tomorrow we're going to have 4 more talks on Abraham Lincoln as part of our series of ongoing conversations about the 16th president and his legacy on the 200th anniversary of his birth. Thank you for your attention. I hope to see you tomorrow in this room starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you very much.